record. All right, we got sportsman expert LMP, Phil Yoder on red, Dwight Cry on white, Jim Bell on green, Davis Van Buren on orange, Jack Campbell on blue, Rick Eichhoff on yellow, Scott Van Buren on purple, and Victor Abreu on black. So let's go to racing. All right, here we go. One lap without an incident. 2 laps. Oh, almost 2 laps. Well, we put him in the wrong group. Track? Is that a track call? Yeah, put them side by side where we can finish this duel. Sorry, Scott, I didn't see it. Now and then. Eat over. All right. Jack Campbell is your leader with 24 laps. Rick Eichhoff 23, Victor Abreu 23, Jim Bell 23, Davis Van Buren, Phil Yoder, Dwight Cry all with 22, and Scott Van Buren, I believe, is at 21. Fast lap goes to Rick Eichhoff with a 4.909, Jack Campbell with a 4.972. Victor Abreu, a 5.018. Everybody else is in the 5.2s and above. All right, Jack Campbell still your leader. Jack's on purple. Yeah. Rick Eichhoff and Victor Abreu are challenging. They're less than a lap behind. Jim Bell just had a critical off. Scott Van Buren. Heat over. I think we got us a race today. All right, Jack Campbell still leading with 48. Victor Abreu second place with 47. Rick Eichhoff third place with 46. Jim Bell 45. Phil Yoder, Davis Van Buren 44 each. Dwight Cry 43 and Scott Van Buren with 41. Fast lap goes to Jack Campbell with a 4937, Victor Abreu a 4973, Rick Eichhoff a 4995, and everybody else is in the, looks like 5.2s or better. Laps up segment. Jack Campbell, Victor Abreu each with 24, Rick Eichhoff 23, Jim Bell, Davis Van Buren, Phil Yoder all with 22, Dwight with 21, and Scott with 20. Under the All right, Jack Campbell is your leader with 71 laps. Victor Abreu at 70. Phil Yoder, Jim Bell, Rick Eichhoff all with 67. Dwight Cry 65, Davis Van Buren 64, and Scott with 63. Laps at segment. Jack Campbell, Victor Abreu, Phil Yoder all with 23. Jim Bell, Dwight Cry with 22. Rick Eichhoff 21. Davis Van Buren and Scott Van Buren each with 20. Fast lap goes to Jack Campbell with a 4946. Victor Abreu a 5004. Jim Bell a 5161. Everybody else 5.2 or above. Both heats are full. 8 and 8. Yeah, very busy. I need to charge the battery. I'm gonna have to buy another battery for it. Heat over. Scott. All right, Jack Campbell, 96 laps. Victor Abreu, 94. Jim Bell, Phil Yoder, and Rick Eichhoff all with 89. Dwight Cry, 88. Davis Van Buren, 86. And Scott Van Buren, 85. Laps that segment. Jack Campbell picked up a lap on the field with 25. Victor Abreu, 24. Dwight Cry, 23. Phil Yoder, Jim Bell, Rick Eichhoff, Davis Van Buren, and Scott Van Buren, I believe, all with 22. Fast lap goes to Jack Campbell with a 4.903. Victor Abreu with a 5.080 on white lane nonetheless. Jim Bell, 5.128. Dwight Cry, 5.161. Davis Van Buren, a 5.167. Everybody else appears to be in the 5.2s and above. Look, well, maybe not. Well, tires are your issue. The car looks good other than that. Got decent speed. All right, so your leader, Jack Campbell, is on orange, and second place is Victor Abreu on red. Once Victor gets off of red, then Jack Campbell has to run both white and red, so anything could happen. And it will. Into heat. Getting down to the wire, Jack Campbell, 119 laps. Victor Abreu, 116. So a 3-lap deficit there, but Jack goes to white, and then after that is red. So he finishes on red, so could be a race. So Jack 119, Victor Abreu 116, Rick Eichhoff 112, Dwight Cry, Jim Bell, Phil Yoder all with 111. Davis Van Buren 109, Scott Van Buren 105. Fast lap goes to Jack Campbell with a 4.933. Victor Abreu a 5.077. Rick Eichhoff a 5.145. Jim Bell a 5.192. Dwight Cry a 5.196. Davis Van Buren a 5.202. Phil Yoder a 5.234. And Scott Van Buren I cannot read. Well, that was a pretty picture. All right, everybody on the screen this time. Give it time to flip. Jack Campbell is your leader with 166 laps. Victor Abreu 163. Rick Eichhoff 158. Dwight Cry 156. Jim Bell and Phil Yoder tied at 155. Davis Van Buren 154 and Scott Van Buren 149. Laps that segment. Jack Campbell, Victor Abreu, Rick Eichhoff, Dwight Cry all with 23. Jim Bell, Phil Yoder, Davis Van Buren all with 22 and Scott with 21. Fast lap goes to Jack Campbell on red lane nonetheless with a 5019. Victor Abreu a 5044. Rick Eichhoff 5063. Dwight Cry with a 5105. And Davis with a 5210. Everybody else is in the 53s. You got to see Phil's braid. All right, Jack Campbell is your winner with 190 laps. Victor Abreu second place with 186. Rick Eichhoff third place with 179. Dwight Cry 179. Jim Bell 177. Davis Van Buren 176. And Phil Yoder 175. Scott Van Buren with 169, I believe. So we'll get some pictures and start our next race. Excuse me, guys.
Just this one handle.
I better go with what I got. Let's go with these.
But I lose on speed.
Too many paint colors.
Rick, I needed you to wreck one more time.
No,